Hi, I'm Crystal,
And I'm Neoshia.
and you're listening to the Rom-Com Detectives. Welcome to Rom-Com Detectives, episode 50. Woohoo!
Quite the milestone.
I know. But yeah, this one's called 15's The New 25. Today, Neoshia and I are going to be talking about the season finale of Castle Season 1, A Death in the Family. This episode originally aired on May 11, 2009. It was written by Andrew Marlowe and Barry Schindel and directed by Brian Spicer. All right, heading straight into the case briefing. The victim in this one was Joshua Leeds, a plastic surgeon. He's 37, which seemed kind of young now that I think about it for a successful plastic surgeon. I guess I just expected successful plastic surgeons to be older.
Yeah, I think shows do this a lot too, right? Whether it's like, oh, here's this professional that has like 6 PhDs and they're only 32.
Yeah, so cause of death was asphyxiation. The killer was Maggie on behalf of the Spilano family. It was a contract killing. There were several notable people as guest stars on this one. The guy who plays Will Sorensen, he's back, much to Castle's chagrin. And then there's Robert Picardo. He's the man who he's credited as Dr. Clark, but Martha refers to him as Dr. Death, which I guess is because does he ever say what his job is? Does anyone say what his job is? He's consulting for Castle, basically, right? So
Right. And I think he's like maybe a coroner or a medical examiner.
yeah, he seems like some kind of guy who's maybe retired and he's a consultant's consultant now. But yeah, so he's from most notably from Star Trek. He plays the holodeck doctor, and then he's also from The Mentalist. He was a regular as Jason Cooper, the number two guy at Visualize. Then there's Ion Overman. She played Candace. She's from The Ghost Whisperer and Desperate Housewives. There's Joe Marinelli. He played Jimmy the Rat, and he's from The Morning Show, among other things. And then the guy who had the most acting credits was Robert Costanzo. He played Sal. He's from the original Total Recall, and he has over 300 acting credits. And I actually just saw him in Die Hard 2 like a couple weeks ago because we are watching all the Die Hard movies.
They're Christmas movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Christmas movies. But yeah, he played the cop at the DC airport that gave John McClane a ticket. All right, let's get to the episode breakdown. The crime it starts with a car being towed and the dead man, the victim has plastic over his face inside. It was kind of a gross scene, right? Like
Oh yeah. Like it was pretty gross and gruesome, especially the plastic over the face.
yeah, and the bloating,
Yeah.
and they kept showing it too, very close up. I was just like, ugh. Can you maybe like do a wide shot so I don't have to look at this so closely?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the saving grace is it looks like people are still wearing jackets, so it's supposed to be winter. So at least it's not like, because I'm just thinking about the smell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then it goes to Castle talking to his medical expert consultant. He's consulting him about Joanna Beckett's murder, and he talks to him a little bit, and then he leaves with the file, and then Martha catches him, and she calls him Dr. Death.
Hmm.
And she's pretty perceptive. She picks up right away, like, do you know what you're doing? Because she knows that he's not supposed to be digging into this case, and she thinks that if he's gonna do it, he should just tell her and be transparent about it. But he's scared because he's nervous, right? And he's going to be even more nervous later.
Yeah, I mean, she told him pretty directly, the one time they talked about it, like, don't you dare look into it. If you do, we're through. And he's been doing it. So,
So Alexis bursts in, and this starts like the super cute side plot of the episode. She's super excited. She tricks Castle into saying yes before revealing that she's talking about junior senior prom, which the guy Owen that she has a crush on is inviting her to because he's technically a junior, and he's confused because he's only 15, but she tells him, oh, he skipped a grade, so he's smart too.
Yeah, I mean, I think this says a lot about sort of Castle's character because he's like, he's not just the chill, laid back dad. I think that's who he is as a person. And so when Alexis is like, oh, there's a boy, he's 15, he's just like, oh, okay, whatever, cool. Like, he treats it as like a cutesy little thing and doesn't get all intense
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, and what he says about make sure you stay up past your bedtime and have some fun, just not too much fun. Like he's like just the right amount of cool dad, and I love that about him.
Right, right. And I think it just suits his personality that he's not, what we see later.
Yeah, and like the ease with they joke between each other. Like she's like, "Oh, we've only held hands," and he's like, "Ew, I don't need details." It's just a cute interaction. They're so adorable. But when Martha learns that Castle's never met Owen, she's like, "What kind of father are you?" So at the scene, because of what Martha said, I guess Castle was just like, "Oh my god, she's right," and so he's gone into panic mode, and he's asking Beckett to run a background check on this kid. Because I mean, you got cop friends, right? Might as well.
Yeah, and I mean, he just doesn't think it's that big of a deal. Like, oh, they're 15.
But she shares this with Ryan and Esfel, and they start scaring him even more, saying, "You shouldn't be worried he's a serial killer. You should be worried he's a teenage boy."
Yeah, which is where this week's title comes from because, like,
Yeah,
I love when Ryan tells Castle,
yeah.
with the internet and everything, like, 15 is the new 25. Like, of course you have to worry about these 15-year-olds. But I was just curious, like, because I know we have way more of this, like, subplot to come, but I mean, I was just curious, like, how did this land for you? Because, I mean, they're obviously teasing Castle, because he's always going to be chill and laid back, but, how does this, like, land for you? And, like, maybe we can discuss it later, but I'm just curious, like, how this subplot lands.
I mean, I love it. It's cute and it's endearing, and it's always made me like Castle more because there's parts of him that are very man child and kind of annoying, but this one aspect of him I've just never really had much to complain about because I mean, it's not that he's a perfect dad, he's a really cool dad, and he's got learning to do because this is his only child. He's still learning how to parent her. And I just like the way that he's vulnerable, and I like that he shares these things with his coworkers and he asks them for advice. I just like the whole like instead of like going it alone, he involves friends, like a community kind of thing. So she and this kind of starts the thing with Alexis where she becomes their family too, even though she's just Castle's daughter. So
Yeah, that's a good way, I think, to look at it. Because I don't know, like, as the episode progresses, because at first I'm like, this is so cute. And by the way, don't get me wrong, I love this. I think this subplot is probably one of my favorites, and especially some of the things coming up. But, like, I think as it progresses, the idea that he needs to be scaring the living crap out of this boy to, like, you know, sort of make his mark, and then Castle gets really into it, I'm just like, why?
I mean, I feel like that is like just part of his personality too. Like he wants to carry on traditions and he's just excited about certain firsts that he gets to do as a dad, not just her firsts that he gets to experience. So
Yeah, because he
I,
kind
I
of does it all out, but
yeah. Castle can't do anything halfway, that's why. So next they discuss the scene and the body, and this is where I got really uncomfortable because they say that the car had accumulated a bunch of parking tickets. It was there for like a week, and his fingernails removed and his fingers were broken. So it's like he was tortured before he was killed. But oh my god, the way that Kate kept moving right into his face, it's it it's wrapped in plastic, and what if it had popped? It was just he was very swollen, and the plastic was like strained.
yeah, I mean, like maybe that's one of those things too, where like they're this like she's this like homicide detective, and so she's kind of used to it, you
She's
know.
off his nails. Nothing. Cast iron stomach.
Yeah, like she's just not afraid of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was just thinking about the smell the whole time. Like that car has 1 week. He's been there for a whole week.
all the more reason to keep a little bit more distance, Kate Beckett. Because you know what is something that I remember a lot is you know that scene in Silence of the Lambs when Clarice goes to see the body and they put that stuff under their nose
Yeah.
to help with the smell. So yeah, I'm always that always made me think, oh my god, I don't know if I would be able to handle it even with that thing under my nose. So
Yeah, not that I've been around like a bunch of dead bodies or anything because that sounds weird, but I always remember, and I don't remember what episode, but it was from CSI, the original CSI. I think it was Gil Grissom, the main character there, telling one of the newer, actually, it might have been the pilot episode when they had like a brand new tech. But anyway, he tells her, like, okay, breathe in through your mouth, like, breathe through your mouth. Do not breathe through your nose. That'll help the smell. And like, that is a real thing. Because, like, if you're ever somewhere and the odor is unbearable, if you try breathing through your mouth instead of your nose, like, which I guess is really hard for some people, but not for me because I'm an asthmatic mouth breather.
mhm.
It does help with the smell, and so I always think of that when I'm around smells that are upsetting me.
At the morgue, a woman identifies the victim as her fiance, and they confirm her story that she was. Well, this is this. I found this so sad because she was about to get married, so she was waiting for him at the cake shop where they were going to try out wedding cakes, and he never showed up. And then that's when she reported him missing, and so I felt bad for her. And this was a cute little thing too. At the murder board, Castle starts spewing out hypotheticals, and right in the middle of it, he stops himself. He's like, "Oh, that's really good. I gotta write that down."
I mean, you got to keep the ideas when you get them. When they hit you, they hit you.
Yep, yep. But so they're gonna go out and interview people, and as they're heading to the elevator, Castle asks Kate if she's ever considered reopening her mother's case. And while the change in her demeanor is just immediate, right? She's suddenly very upset. And she tells him if he touches her mother's case, the two of them are done. And when he asks why, she basically tells him that her mother's case was like an addiction for her. She says it was like she was like an alcoholic, and she spent the first 3 years of her career whenever she wasn't working just investigating it. And I just she's like tearing up and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really, really like this scene, and I like that confession that she makes, and how she compares it to being an alcoholic, because I don't want to like keep belaboring all of these like, oh, parallels to Bones, and this is how it's like Bones, but it reminds me of the character of Brennan in Bones, who had a similar sort of lost both of her parents and kind of just put it out of her mind, like didn't investigate, didn't want to really look into anything, kind of just had this idea that, like, if I give up looking, I could probably just have a fulfilling life alone. And not that Kate is really a true loner, but we do see her sort of, in some ways, I think she is a little closed off. But like, if she's not looking, then she's not sort of stuck in this loop, right, of having to find this. So she's kind of like almost convinced herself that she's moved on
Yeah.
and that she doesn't need to do this, but at some level, it's still impacting her. And I mean, I
It's
think as
under
a
the surface, right?
right,
And
right,
so as soon as he brings it up, it comes right back.
right, it's a trigger point for her,
Yeah.
right? And so it just makes me think about, like, as messy as things can get when you start asking questions, especially ones that people don't want answered, is it better not to know? Like, is she better
Mhm.
off for, sort of burying it and saying, I can't look at this anymore? Or is she better for, being able to sort of finally fill that? Because I kind of see it as almost like a hole in your heart, which I know is dramatic, but this question, right? This why, like, why did I lose my mom? Why did they take her from me? Who would take her from me? So is it better to just have that open wound and pretend that you're doing okay, or is it better to resolve it? And I don't know, like, I think it has a lot to do with happiness, especially for a character like Beckett. And I think it kind of sets the stage for her character a little bit moving forward. And so yeah, I don't know, like, I like this exploration of Beckett's character and what's going on here.
Castle and Beckett go to the victim's office. As we mentioned, he's a plastic surgeon. I guess he must work on boobs too because this hot blonde struts out and Castle's just unable to look away. And Kate's like, "What is it with men and boobs?" And she doesn't understand why they like them, even if it's clear that they're fake. And he's like, "Well, Santa's not real, but we still enjoy opening his presents." I thought that was hilarious. Very, very old Castle.
Yeah.
But they talk to his staff and they find out about one unhappy client who was threatening to sue because he didn't want to do yet another facelift on her. And when they see her file, they're like, oh. So I didn't think her picture was that bad. Did you?
No, and I was just kind of thinking, like, I just hope they found an actress who they kind of just over exaggerated her features,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to, like, look at this terrible surgery. Because, I mean, it's kind of a callback almost to Goldie Hawn's character in The First Wives Club, where she keeps just like getting little things tinkered with, and like, especially her lips, to the point where she's like talking like this. And people can't see my lips, but like her lips are completely blown out because she keeps getting them filled, and so she can't even like really close her lips. But yeah, I hope that they just exaggerated her features, because otherwise this is a little cruel.
I know, especially the way that they react to her and the way they
Hmm.
look at her and the way they talk about her. Like, I just, yeah, like you, I was just like, I hope they made her look like this,
Right.
to be in the show, not just like hired her because she looks like that already and then just kind of teased her. Because I've felt this way similarly about, this is a very niche reference, but there's this episode of SVU that actually has Jeremy Allen White in it,
Hmm.
and it's in one of the earlier seasons. I don't remember which one, but basically everybody in the squad room calls him Pizza Face for all the acne that he has. He's got like whiteheads all over his face, and they call him Pizza Face constantly to his face sometimes. And when I was rewatching SVU a couple of years ago, I was like, this is really terrible. And it's just like, I guess it's just a sign of like the times. Like it wasn't as nearly as PC back in the 90s, so maybe that's why something like this could be said. But I just, yeah, I felt really uncomfortable, and I had like a similar kind of feeling here where I was just like, do you really have to mock these people's faces right to their face?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. It's just something that I think we, as a society, we do it, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
if you saw this person who has had all of this excessive plastic surgery, there's going to be jokes about it. It's just more so like, I don't know, hiring an actor because they look a certain way and then calling them names is weird to me.
Yeah,
Um,
I hope it wasn't like that.
yeah, like, because it seems cruel to do that.
Yeah, yeah, not just like in character, but in like production, right? In reality. So I
Right.
just, yeah.
Because you could always make someone up, right? You can put prosthetics on, like really enhance the makeup. There's ways to make them look like they've had terrible plastic surgery without, getting someone there making them the butt of all the jokes.
So the way that Castle reacted to her photo, I thought didn't match what her photo looked like, but I did think that she looked a lot scarier in person. So that I could see, but just the way that he reacted, I thought was a little blown out of proportion to her photo.
Yeah, and my number one comment there was just like, that's a lot of plastic surgery for someone who's suing her doctor because he's refusing to do another surgery. And like, she's framing it as though like he's violating her human right to plastic surgery. Like, it is so dramatic.
I mean, from his reaction, I was expecting, because I didn't remember what she looked like, so I was kind of expecting it to be like, like one of those people who have like have themselves cosmetically altered to like a cat or something. I was
Yeah.
expecting something like that, something that was startling, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, like that Ollie guy from Britain who, like, I don't know if you remember this. I think it was maybe about a decade ago or so. He got really popular on Twitter, I think, or YouTube. Hell, I don't know. But like, he got really popular, and his whole claim to fame was that he was having so much plastic surgery to turn himself into a Korean person. Yeah, your
What?
facial reaction kind of most of the people's
Yeah,
reaction to it, because
nobody
it's
could
like,
see it, but yeah, I was just like kind of like, "Excuse me."
but that was his whole thing, and now he's like a right wing influencer. So
Oh,
yay!
lovely. So they ask her where she was around when they think that the murder happened, and she was getting something. She was having a procedure done, so basically they clear her. But so, what did you think about Castle? Like he can't stop staring at her, which is so rude, but is still so Castle. And I kind of liked this like little interaction between Castle, not between Castle and Beckett, but basically he slips and he says, "Why?" When she says that he wouldn't give me my facelift, he says, "Why don't you just go see another lips?" And just the way that Beckett turns and looks at him like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, I mean, I do like the way that they kind of talk about plastic surgery in this episode. Again, it's kind of cruel to like make those comments to someone's face, but like there is a distinction here, right? Because on one hand, we do see Castle ogling the blonde with the brush job, right? That was socially acceptable because she made her boobs bigger. So now she's hotter, obviously, right? And she's drawing all the right attention. But then with, this woman, the attention she draws is, you know, she's like a sideshow, right? She's a freak show
Mm,
because of how she
negative
looks.
attention.
Right, right. And so there's like almost this distinction being drawn between the acceptable surgery and the not so acceptable surgery, where, you kind of become this person that others don't think is. And it is, I guess, possible to get addicted to these procedures, but yikes.
Next, we go dress shopping. Castle, Alexis, and Martha have gone dress shopping. She comes out in a dress and she wants his opinion. He's like, "You look great," which she gets really annoyed at because she says he's not being very helpful. He's supposed to be actually critiquing her. And then Martha comes in. She's like, "Oh my God, no, it's hideous." And she's like, "Thank you." I really identified with this because that's just how it is for us girls, right? We want to know if we look bad in it because we don't want to be told you look great and we don't, and then we show up and it's like, "Oh my God, look at me in this picture, I look terrible, why didn't you even tell me that?"
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy this, but I think it's also a drawback of being raised by a single dad, right? Because most dads are going to think that their daughters look beautiful in anything, right?
Or that
And then
that's what they need to hear, right?
right. And Martha's like, I can't remember if she tells her it makes her look pale or washed out. But, Martha's like, no, that looks terrible on you. Take it off.
I really liked the Marthaism in this one. It was really spot on. She says that all women have something that they hate about themselves and nothing can change their minds. And that they just have to fix themselves up, and that's going to be what makes them feel good about themselves. And I really like that. She is such a wise lady for somebody who comes off as often being just, what is a good word for her?
I mean, kind of aloof sometimes. Like her head
Yeah.
is in the clouds sometimes.
Yeah. But she has some really good things to say all the time. She's very wise, and I like her a lot. So Alexis finally comes out in a new dress, and Castle's like, "It's very you." And I think this time he's being genuine, and because they all like it. So at Leeds' office, Espo finds a drawer full of energy bar wrappers. And then he makes a comment about how weird it is that he had no porn on his computer. And I was just like, what? Is that like something that's on every man's computer? What? I was just like, do I just know different men?
Yeah, and I
Or
mean, also, too, like, at this time, like, are people just downloading porn? Like, not watching it on DVD or just, like, streaming it? Like, because why would
and
it
plus
just be safe?
this was his office like work computer too. So is that like something that they find on people's computers at work all the time when they're investigating? I just had so many questions.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, though, because, like, they are investigating people after they die.
Hmm.
And I, this reminds me of a TikTok I saw a while back, but this lady was talking about, make sure you have a best friend that when you, like, if you die suddenly, she will go to your house and she will clear the
Clean it up.
nightstand. Yeah. And she was like showing the bag because her best friend had just died. And so that was sort of the, on one hand, right, she's like mourning her friend. On the other hand, it's funny because it's like, it's a joke, right? Like she went and, before her best friend's family could get there to, go through all of her stuff, she knew where the, how should I put this? She knew where uh, the illicit goods that you don't want maybe your kids or your parents going through, right?
Yeah, that is so funny. I've never thought of that. But really, all anyone would find when I die is like all my knitting projects that I haven't finished. That would be embarrassing, but oh well.
Knitting projects unfinished, embarrassing. Versus all the other things people could find.
But Ryan finds among the wedding planning documents, he finds some medical files that have names redacted, and the office manager doesn't know what they are. And then so they figure out that this doctor who died had secretly done without his, what was she? She's like his main assistant.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
know what.
like, I think his surgical nurse.
Yeah, so she's supposed to be with him like whenever he does surgery, but she had no idea about it, and he did it at some hospital where when he had told him that he was going to be at a panel or something. So he lied to his staff and everything about it to hide this, which is very suspicious, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it is suspicious because, like, there's no names, office staff doesn't know.
Back at the station, Castle had done this whole thing where like Ryan couldn't find any records, but Castle's like, "Well, you should have gone to billing because they always know where everything is."
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so they find out that the bill for this procedure that the doctor did was paid in full by wire transfer. And then the conversation shifts to Alexis. They want to know like what's going on with the death with the prom thing. And this is when Castle says that he's really looking forward to hazing Owen. He's, and then Ryan, I love Ryan's contribution to this. He looks dazed or like still a little traumatized, right? He's like recalling how his dad's date checked his wallet for condoms, showed him his gun collection, and that his hands were shaking so bad that he could barely put on the corsage. And I found this so hilarious. Just thinking about Ryan in that situation. Oh my god, it was too cute.
See, that's just like too far. Like, why are we traumatizing these teenage boys? I mean, I know why, but like, why?
And even Kate, she's like, I don't remember anything like that. But then she starts. Then she stops and she's like, wait. Now that I think about it, he was kind of scared of me the whole time.
Yeah, see, like, she didn't know that it was happening. And yeah,
It's so funny because like you can just imagine she's just having a good time and she has no idea why like this her poor date is just like maybe afraid to touch her.
yeah. And I mean, like, given our listenership, I'm sure we don't have too many, like, men who, we probably don't have very many straight men or men who date women who listen to this, but like, I'd be so curious to know if this is like a real thing that happens in real life. Like, are these young men showing up to pick up boys? They're still boys, they're not men. Are these boys showing up to like pick up their dates for prom and like some old man is like, here's my gun collection. Touch my daughter and you'll meet one of them. Now I have seen, I guess, some photos of people joking about it online and stuff, but like never have I ever heard of like I sat that boy down and I talked to him and I scared him real
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't think I know anyone in person who's experienced it. So I don't know. Do you think it's just purely like a movie, TV kind of trope, and
I
it's been
mean,
phased out in reality?
I think it's a good movie trope, maybe. I don't know. Like, I mean, I know people are like, I have to meet your date or your friend or whoever you're going out with. Like, so I do
Hmm.
know that happens, but to this level of you have to scare them and like traumatize them.
Or
Like, I'm sure
embarrass them.
it's,
Although I think the
yeah.
embarrassing part is often done unintentionally. Like the one I remember is Father of the Bride,
Oh,
where
yeah.
she right, he's like, "Don't forget to fasten your condoms when they're leaving." Oh, I really need to watch those movies again because watching Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Martin Short, I was remembering that I really used to like those movies.
Yeah, I mean, I remember them. I was kind of forced to watch them a lot of times. My parents would watch them. So I think I might like them more as an adult, but like, yeah. It's one of those things where you're forced to watch something as a kid and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like that with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I refused to watch that movie because my mom made me watch it, and I did not want to watch it.
Yeah, so you put American President on our list to um,
For a watch party.
watch. Yeah, for watch party. And I was just like, absolutely, unequivocally, no. For some
Why?
reason. So, I mean, like, I've obviously watched The West Wing, obviously, and other Aaron Sorkin projects, and I don't think the movie's bad. It's just I was forced to watch it so many times as a kid because my parents
uh,
liked it. We had it on VHS. Like, we watched it all the time.
did you watch Dave?
I've seen it, but like it wasn't one that we watched all the time. Like so that's sort of the trigger for me.
Maybe I can do Dave then, because Dave is a really good movie. It's very underrated.
Yeah, you should probably show the kids American President though. It's a good movie.
I like that you call them kids.
The canonical text. You're teaching the people about the canonical texts.
But yeah, so Espo reports that the procedure was paid for in full by the US government. Ooh.
Dun dun
And
dun.
now they have to go talk to the assistant US attorney. And Espo tells Castle, because he's confused, like why they look like so like apprehensive. And Espo's like, well, she makes mobsters cry.
Yeah, he calls her
Although,
hard candy.
yeah, so I didn't understand because I didn't feel like she came across as that big of a hard ass in her scenes.
Yeah, I mean, I think
They talked her up about in this way, but I didn't really get that vibe off of her. I mean, she tried, but I didn't really get it in the to the degree that they were talking about her.
yeah, I mean, like, because she's just basically have in the position to tell Kate no. Like, they're not adversarial. It's just she's in the position to tell Kate no. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't think that it's one of those times where she needed to be that hard up or that we would see her being hard. Um, just more so holding a hard line, if you will, saying, no, I'm not going to tell you.
So after they get a no, Castle's like, "Oh, let's go ask the mob," because of course he wants to do that, and he knows a guy because he went to go talk to someone when he was doing research for a Derek Storm book, and he had told Kate that he's actually pretty nice for a criminal.
Yeah, I love Castle's like draw to this like authenticity of let me talk to all of
Yeah,
the players involved to see how
yeah.
things actually work.
And you know, I this comes up later too, but I love that all these people that they go through that they read his books and they love his books, that they're like his low-key fans too. I like that.
Yeah,
It
they're like,
brings
oh, okay, we'll talk to you because we like your books.
He goes to meet the guy Sal, and as he approaches, one of his bodyguards like pulls him and pins him down, and the guy Sal's like, take him out back and kill him. Just but and so as he's like hustling him out, he's like, wait, stop, stop. I was just joking. And oh my god. I really like this one too because it was amusing. I like seeing like Castle put in this kind of uncomfortable situation where he's actually not sure. Like he's like, I thought I was famous enough that we're friends enough that you're not gonna hurt me, but oh my god, was I wrong?
Yeah,
But the guy Sal tells him about some guy named Jimmy the Rat who turns state's evidence against the Spilano family. So that's like their next lead. He doesn't recognize the killing method, but he thinks that Jimmy would know. So they're trying to find Jimmy Moran now because he's the guy that they think that the doctor worked on. So they think that the doctor was tortured so that he could find they could find out where he is, I guess, or maybe what he looks like now. I don't know.
yeah. Also, too, I kind of wonder if Sal already knows whose killing method this is because the way he
Yeah.
says, I bet Jemmy the Rat would know.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of like hinted that he's just like amusingly trying to make Castle like chase down the fact on his own, even though he already knows.
Basically, telling him without telling him.
Yeah. So at this part, they start talking about like the case and where they are so far. Kate gives out assignments, and Ryan mentions, "We'll just bang our heads against a brick wall while we're at it." And like Castle's confused by this, and then Esposito explains that professional hits are the hardest to solve because there's not really a motive. They're assigned to kill the person and they don't really have personal relationships. So it's like, it's very difficult to use the traditional methods of investigating a murder for those. And Kate says she has a source she can go to, and Castle immediately understands that it's the guy that was just in the last episode, the guy Sorensen. So he's not happy about that. And I liked this was one of the other episode titles that I was thinking about. He calls him tall, brooding, and judgmental. I love that. But yeah, so Kate brings him his favorite donut to woo him over.
All it took was a
And
donut and her
I
smile.
know it was a sprinkles donut. Although I don't know if I've ever seen one with white frosting.
I
Usually the
have.
ones I see are chocolate with sprinkles.
Yeah, so Duncan makes a white and a pink with
Ah.
sprinkles. Yeah.
So at his apartment, the doorbell rings and Castle comes out of his office. He's wearing a bloody doctor's coat and carrying a decapitated rubber head. She's ready to do his hazing, but he's stopped immediately by Alexis and Martha. They scold him and make him take it off. And then I like that he listens to them. He doesn't just do it anyway. He goes and he takes it off and he comes back and he takes video footage of them meeting and putting on the corsage and everything. And that's another aspect of his fatherhood that I like about him. He listens to the women around him. So
Yeah, because I mean, like, I thought he was going a little bit overboard there, but I mean,
yeah,
you kind of nailed it earlier with like the performance aspect of Castle's personality. Because once he's kind of given the permission to scare the crap out of this kid, he's like, "Oh, I got to go all in." And so he's doing this a little bit performatively, but yeah, just kind of thinking this a little bit overboard.
yeah, and yet like when he comes back, he doesn't like do like a lesser grilling of him. He's just nice. He's just a nice
Yeah.
dad. He videos them, he says bye, and yeah, he doesn't do anything in the end. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, I thought Alexis just looked absolutely adorable. Yeah, she had little princess vibes with that, Cinderella
Yeah.
dress and
Her
everything.
hair
So
was so cute.
yeah, and so I'm glad he didn't like ruin that moment. Like
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
adorable. Video it, get the evidence, move on.
And then after they leave, he busts out his Christopher Walken.
Hmm.
And he even answers Beckett's call in his Christopher Walken voice. But so she's calling to tell him that Sorensen actually came through and he arranged them to meet Jimmy the Rat and they have to go meet in an hour. And so next we have them sitting in a parking garage and he's like, this is very cliche. And he's like, next you're gonna pull up in a black SUV. And sure enough, they pull up in a black SUV. But they talk to Jimmy. He's wearing like a mask on his face to hide his identity. And then they mention that the doctor was killed and he starts freaking out. And then when they ask him what they came to ask him which was, oh, do you recognize this killing method of the plastic bag over the head, asphyxiation and stuff like that? And he's like, yeah, it's mine. And he's like, they're trying to send me a message. So he's legit freaked out. And who can blame him, right? I mean,
Right.
but he demands to get taken back to a safe house. And then next we have Castle and Beckett, or yeah, Castle and Beckett, and they're explaining that he was so scared that now he's not going to testify. So they're in deep deep doo doo, right? But then Montgomery comes to tell them that their car was attacked. They were shot at when they were going back to the safe house. So they go to the hospital, and the guy Moran's going to be okay, but Sorensen is still in surgery. And Kate is really torn up about this because tell Castle, like if I was a better cop, I would have made sure that we weren't followed. I should have known and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so like I kind of hate that Beckett blames herself because on one hand, is it something that you might be thinking about when meeting with the witness, like taking some extra precautions? Yes, but this wasn't really in her job, like her purview. This is more of like Sorensen and the guys from
Yeah, yeah,
the FBI, right? Like this is what they're trained to do. So like they should have been the ones who like set up a bunch of different like precautions and
yeah,
all these different things, right? Like because there's different ways that they could do this, and they just sort of did it this way. So I hate that she blamed herself, but I really, really, really like Castle's monologue. I don't know if that's the right word for it here, but like, you know, I think it truly nails the essence of, just sort of how he sees Kate Beckett almost as like his own personal heroine. Or I mean, I shouldn't say his own personal, but he sees her as a heroine, right? Like how she is like this almost larger than life figure because she, I mean, she is blaming herself, right? Even though she doesn't hold the blame, she's carrying it
Yeah.
um, because people were shot and Will could die, and she doesn't know if he's going to pull through. But I mean, it's the moment that kind of like seals the deal on the show for me, so to speak, in terms of getting me to be like, yes, I am all in on Castle, and I want to see where this goes because I think it's a really pivotal moment in their relationship.
So Castle snoozes in his living room when Alexis comes home. And I love that he hides so that he doesn't, when they kiss, when he kisses her goodnight, I like that he hides so that he can leave them to the moment themselves. It's very respectful of him, and I like that. I say that a lot this episode. I like that. I like that. there's a lot to like about all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, would you freak out if you saw your kid kissing their date though?
I don't know. I don't think so. I would be excited, especially if I know that's their first one. So
Okay, okay, fair.
I guess it all depends on the situation and what kind of kiss it is too. Because that was a very innocent, chaste, cute kiss.
Hmm.
If it was something a bit more aggressive, I might have been like, "Excuse me, time to go home."
Spray bottle.
Exactly. But so the next day, the Castle goes into the station, and they're all looking at Beckett because she is working like a maniac at the murder board. They tell him that she came in at 4 a.m. She called them in. She's had 9 double espressos, and it's Saturday. So yeah, she's going all in because I guess she's gone from guilt to I'm gonna find this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think it's kind of wild that like Sorensen and them, like, they had to get shot in order for them to really crack this because I don't know that this one's really apparent in terms of like who the killer is.
But what she's fixated on is she's saying that since they were the ones who were followed to that meeting location, it had to be someone that they talked to. So they narrow it down to the fiance and his staff, and they tick off the fiance because she had a strong alibi. And so they come down to Maggie, who's one of the nurses in the office. So they're convinced that Moran is in danger. So they head out. Castle's like, don't leave town.
Yeah, because like at first they're talking to, and I forget his name, but the male nurse that worked there, they're sort of like thinking it's him. Like that's who Kate zeroes in on, right?
Yeah,
Because I think it's
yeah.
the idea that, hit man and that this is probably a man is stuck in her head. But then it's when she gets that call from Ryan when he's just like, hey, it's Maggie. It's Maggie. Um, because like the pictures didn't match, right? Like she's using someone's name, but and probably killed that person. But like she's using someone else's name in their license. And anyway, like I said, like it's kind of wild. I don't think they would have broke through on this case had it not been for the shooting, because that's what really
Mm.
put them on the trail of somebody we talked to.
So next we go to the hospital. The hit woman approaches, and because she's approved on the first victim's medical clearance list, she gets let through. And she goes into Jimmy's room and administers something to his IV to kill him, giving him like the last message from the Spolanos and everything. But as she goes to leave, Kate meets her outside the door, and she's arrested. And Castle walks in and shows, "Oh, the IV wasn't attached." Woohoo.
Yeah, like I don't know, why do TV shows always do this? Like I don't know. One of my favorite episodes of NCIS does this too, and I've seen it in a couple other places. But like, what if she just pulled out a gun and shot him in the head? And they're just assuming that she's going to do it in the IV. I don't know. It's weird to me that they're always assuming it's going to be the IV as opposed to like, trying to stop her from trying to kill him.
I'm trying to think back to the mentalist with Bosco.
Hmm.
What was she doing? Did she have a gun? I can't remember for some reason now.
I don't either, and I should because I really like that arc in season two.
Yeah. But yeah, she goes in and she's ready to kill him too. But I mean, it could be the case where they feel like she would want to get out of there, and maybe it would
Well,
be
right.
too
It does
loud.
kind
So
it makes sense though, right? Because if you put it in the IV and it's something that is not traceable, really,
it's
like no one ever
quiet.
knows. Yeah, no one knows that you killed them. But like, what if this person is just unhinged and they walk in there
Yeah.
and they like stab them or shoot them or whatever?
Yeah, if she had a knife, knife is quiet too.
Or this is a pillow over his
Yeah,
face. Like,
yeah. It was kind of dangerous. And I guess the other thing too, I was like, "Oh, is that really Jimmy?" And I guess it was, but I was just like, "Yeah, surely he would have protested knowing that he was actual bait."
right.
Like I would have thought that they would do something where like they wrap a cop in bandages and they just put like Jimmy's name on the door or something, so he's not actually in any danger. So I was
Hmm.
kind of surprised that they like you were saying, like what if she had done it some other way, but they still let her get in the room with him. They still let her spend all this time. Like why didn't they just arrest her as soon as they saw her, right? They're
Right.
just
Because I mean,
they're all this theater, right? They let her do the thing. I don't know if it's just because they're like, oh, we need to get her on attempted murder, so we need her to actually do it, so we can arrest her. I don't know, but it's just I feel like it would theoretically. I feel like Montgomery wouldn't have put an actual witness in actual danger,
mhm.
so it's a bit questionable here. I'm squinting at it. TV. In his apartment, Castle's meeting a Dr. Death who has come with his findings, but he tells him that the wounds on Joanna Beckett, the first wound was the one that actually killed her because I guess he stuck the knife in and twisted it and it killed that's what she died from. And then the other wounds that she had were for show. And he also found three other murders that were never linked to her case before, but he says is indicative of the same MO, so the same killer. And Martha pressures Castle to tell her. And at this point, Castle's really nervous because she had said, "We're done if you touch her case." And but yet he knows that Martha's right that he has to tell her because this is new information. It's not in the case file. They've never tied it to other murders. So
Yeah. And I mean, like, I just kind of wonder, like, is Martha right here? And I mean, I think she is. Because on one hand, Castle kind of went looking for trouble when he went looking into this file, right? Because there was a possibility he could find something else. Even though she's poured over every inch of the file, it was always possible for him to find something or to come up with some contribution, right? So by looking into it, there was always going to be this possibility that he found something. And I mean, and I get Beckett, like she has tried to put this behind her, and now Castle is following her for the purposes of writing this book and now looking into this part of her past, and it's really personal.
he's digging it up again.
Yeah, he's bringing up something she tried to bury, and I mean, it's kind of a betrayal of her trust, right? Because she
Yeah,
said don't do it, and he did
he
it
did it
anyway.
anyway. Yeah.
But now that he has this information,
What do I do with it?
right? And I just also get the impression that Kate Beckett isn't the kind of woman who appreciates someone holding important information from her.
Yeah, and I feel like he knows that too by now. So the next scene is Kate and Will. They're laughing over Sprinkle Stone. He's high on meds. Castle knocks. He calls her outside. She knows that something's up because she's like, "Why do you look so serious?" And then he says, "It's about your mother." And then they just show the look on her face. And then that's the end of the episode. And that's the end of the season.
Yeah.
I would have been so mad.
Yeah, so I mean, when Will asked Castle if he's finished his book yet, kind of implying like, "Are you done following Kate yet?" And Castle says, "Last chapter." That is a bit ominous. That is a bit
Yeah.
ominous. I do like that addition there.
Yeah. All right, rewatch checklist. I added one
I
for this,
saw.
so now we have something more. So we have Beckett's hair watch. Uh, I think her hair looked pretty similar to last week's. It was
Hmm.
very nice, not as spiky. pop culture references, there were a few. There's a point when they're looking at the plastic surgery addict lady, and she says, "Come on, guys, she's not an animal; she's a human being." And Castle's like agreeing with her until he's like, "Wait, are you quoting Elephant Man?" And so I had to go look it up because this is apparently an old black and white movie, and I'd never heard of it. I'd never seen it, but I was able to find this scene because apparently that's like one of the most famous lines from this movie. He said the guy. It's about a surgeon who rescues a heavily disfigured man working as a circus freak. And the scene is like there's all these people gathered around this guy, and he's like, "I'm not an animal, I'm a human being." So I guess that's what she was quoting.
Don't they reference that in the X Files episode Humbug?
Oh, do they? I don't know. I would have
I
thought that it
kind of
would have been maybe postmodern Prometheus too, possibly.
maybe I seem to remember Humbug because that's the circus episode. That's neither
Ah.
here nor there, but
See, no, but that probably went right over my head because, like I said, I've never heard of this movie. So, and then there was a Christopher Walken thing where he did the voice. He said something about he was like, "Little man, hey, little man, have you ever been to prison?" And so that made me think it was Pulp Fiction. Do you think it was Pulp Fiction, or is it another Christopher Walken role?
I think it's that one.
Yeah, because I went to go rewatch it because basically the one I'm talking about is the scene where Christopher Walken walks in on a young, I think his name was Butch, Bruce Willis's character, right? He's having a dream of Christopher Walken coming to see him talking about the watch from his father being a POW. And then he makes a brief, beautiful mind mention when Kate is looking at the murder board very intently. Okay, so the one that I added to our rewatch checklist is Martha isms. The first one was when she said, "Mistakes are the building blocks of wisdom," and this one, her quote is, and it's actually what I'm gonna say for my favorite line. She says, "The right clothes, the right shoes, the right makeup, it hides the flaws we think we have. They make us look beautiful to ourselves. That's what makes us beautiful to others." Love the way she says that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Okay, I didn't write down any author's notes, and then Casket Corner. I feel like this was this was more like building blocks for like future storyline points.
The only one I would have is the hospital scene where he is like, giving her that talk and basically saying, "Hey, don't blame yourself." And so that's actually my favorite line comes from that scene.
Hmm. All right, bestseller list scenes. What's yours?
So I'm going with Alexis trying on the dresses because I just think it's a cute father daughter moment. And today is my dad's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
So yeah, I'm going to go with that one.
Mine is the other another of the father daughter moments. It's when Owen comes to pick Alexis up, and Castle just ditches his bloody coat and his severed head, and he just comes and he's a nice dad. He listens to them.
Yeah, and then so you already gave your favorite line.
Yeah,
So I have two that I really liked. It was part of that conversation from the hospital when Castle says, "You don't let go, you don't back down. That's what makes you extraordinary." Because I think that's also a bit of foreshadowing. Is it's almost a reminder of Beckett, or excuse me, a reminder for Beckett, who she is, because like he can see her, I think, pretty well, which is again goes back to why he's so afraid to tell her that he's found something because he knows she means business when she says we're done if you do this. But I think he can see her very well, and he has a good sense of who she is, and I think he's right on the money. And so it's a good reminder, I think, for her about who she is. And the other one came from Montgomery, which was, a lady hitman, a real blow for women's rights. I mean, but also, is it really a blow? Because it's basically
I
saying
know.
that women can excel in male
Yeah.
fields. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say something very similar. I was like, "Is it though?" It means that she can do anything.
right.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll come back with a new Beckett's interrogation. We'll see how Neosha does. Okay, we're back with a new Beckett's interrogation. The way this works is I'm going to ask 6 questions about the episode we just discussed, and you'll have 5 seconds to come up with the answer. All right, we're going to start with question 1. How many parking tickets had the car accumulated before the victim was found?
So he'd been there a week. I want to say like 15, but I don't think that's right. I'm just guessing because I don't know the number.
It's 6.
Okay.
Holy cow, 15? Like you think that they would give like multiple tickets a day?
I think they would keep giving tickets until you moved the car or got towed. That's what I
Oh
think.
my god,
Yeah.
brutal. It's funny because I was just taking my son to school and there were so many people getting towed on our street, and I was like trying to teach him like a life lesson. I was like, don't ever get your car towed because you're going to have to pay for the ticket, which is going to be a couple $100, and you're going to have to pay for the tow, which is going to be a few $100. And I was like, it's very costly lesson in not reading parking signs.
Yep.
Question 2. How many facelifts? Oh, I did it too. I slipped. I said facelifts. How many facelifts had Dr. Leeds' unhappy client already had when ordering another?
I want to say 4, but I don't think that's right.
It's actually 3. She wanted a 4th. Close.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Question 3. What color was the hideous dress that Alexis tried on?
it was like some shade of pink, like blush or bashful. I don't know,
It was
but
a
it was
hot
pink.
pink.
Okay. So not blush or
Close.
bashful.
Okay. Question 4. You'll get this one. What is the nickname they have for Assistant U.S. Attorney Candace Robinson?
Oh, hard candy.
Yeah, there you go. So when they're meeting, what does Sal call Castle? He has like some kind of funny nickname for him.
Hmm. Yeah, something right, or I don't know.
It's Master of the Macabre.
Oh, yeah, I would have
All
never
right.
got that.
And last question. What book of castles did Sal love?
Every time you ask me a book title, I never know what they are. Um, I know it's a Derek Storm book, but
It's going to have the
it's a
word storm in it.
storm warning. Let's
Oh
go.
my god, you got it.
Did I really?
Yeah, you did. How'd you do that?
I don't know. Like it was just at the top of my head. Maybe I did know the answer, and I just didn't think I knew the answer.
Oh, that's so funny. Good job. All right. Any last thoughts?
No, I mean overall, great finale episode. I think it really tees up some of the interpersonal dynamics and action that we have coming early in season 2.
Did you watch it live when this was aired?
No, no,
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
start watching this live until season 4.
Because I'm just
I think
curious
that's
what the
the second
reaction
watch.
to this kind of like chopped off cliffhanger ending was. Because watching it back now, I was just like, what? And I can't imagine going on break and having to wait a whole summer for it to come back. So,
That is a real thing that we don't have to experience too much anymore.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, I shouldn't say
it's
that
it's
because
it's worse now because now you got to take a break and wait for 2-3 years for the next season.
right. So, I mean, I should say on the network shows, especially if you're binging them, it's
Yeah,
not as
yeah.
bad. But yeah, I mean, you still get the 3 month hiatus, 4 month hiatus, or the if you're on Apple or HBO, it could be 6 years before you see the new season. So good luck.
All right. If you're enjoying Rom-Com Detectives, we hope you'll consider taking a minute to leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. For our question of the week, leave us a comment on Spotify, YouTube, or Reddit and tell us whether you think it's normal for men to have porn on their work computers. Certainly not normal in my circles.
Listeners, I want you to know that's the question that she chose. And you see how she laughed at it? Couldn't even
If
deliver it with a straight voice.
I know. Oh my god, it's just too funny. If you'd like to join additional conversations about Castle, you can visit the Castle subreddit at reddit.com/r/CastleTV. To contact me and Neoshia, email us at host@romcomdetectives.com. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, or Blue Sky at romcomdetectives, or leave us a voicemail or text message at 1-650-733-XOXO or 9696. This episode of Rom-Com Detectives was recorded on January 13, 2026. Rom-Com Detectives Castle Unit is co-hosted by Krista Watanabe and Neoshia Roemer and is produced by Pico's House. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll catch you guys next time for our breakdown of the Season 2 premiere, Deep in Death. Bye.
Bye, everyone.